We thought Kentucky might be done in the front court when it came to their additions that they could add through the portal, but it looks like they just got an absolute unicorn from overseas.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky, your daily Kentucky Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Lance Daw, and on today's episode of Locked On Kentucky, we are going to be talking about the most recent addition to the Kentucky Wildcats, and that is Andrija Jelavic, an incredible unicorn forward out of Croatia. Super excited to break this one down here on today's show with you guys. Obviously, this is a little bit of a chaotic setup here. I don't even have the right background, and now we do. Over here live on YouTube. I don't know how good the stream is going to be. I am currently out in parts unknown, and it looks like all of you in the chat are saying that Lamar Wilkerson has already committed. There is no way that can possibly be. There's no way, right? There's no way. There's no way that actually just happened. I immediately have to go and open Twitter. Anyway, we're going to start today's episode talking about Andrija Jelavic committing to the Kentucky Wildcats. This kind of blindsided me. The last two streams that we have had have kind of been chaotic out of the blue. Last time it was pretty bad news. Today here, got some very, very good news with Jelavic here. I'm sorry I'm kind of all over the place. This is a helter-skelter setup here last minute. I've been trying for the last hour to get everything put together. Jeff's trolling. Awesome. Appreciate it. So Wilkerson is not committed. He's currently in Indiana. That's what I thought last time I had checked. But what are we getting in the star Croatian forward out of the ABA? Well, first and foremost, this kind of takes us back, right? Kind of takes us back to a couple of off seasons ago, or last offseason rather, where Kentucky was trying so hard to get Zvonimir Ivisic, an extremely talented player from overseas, somebody that could step out, hit the three, could play some defense inside, and had some legit athleticism and some wiggle to him. And I obviously we all know how that kind of panned out for UK with the struggle of trying to get him into the school. UK admissions, please figure it out this time. It'd be much appreciated. We've got so much time right now, I guess, to get him in. But it's very similar to Ivisic in like what you're asking for, which is a unicorn four that can step out and knock down the three. I think this kid's got a little bit more muscle to him and a little bit more athleticism to him. That might also be because of what Zvonimir had to deal with injury-wise. Injury-wise, whenever he committed to the Kentucky Wildcats just last season. I'm sorry I'm all over the place. I'm trying to read through the chat here and trying to make sure that Wilkerson actually didn't commit. Appreciate Jeff in the chat for completely throwing me off at the start of this episode. This has kind of been out of the blue. Lance talking into the muff as I say, yeah, I don't know if y'all can notice here. This is a different microphone today. I'm talking into what is essentially a dustpan, or a duster, I should say. But Jelavic, a 6'10" forward, according to ESPN, one of the top European prospects in his age group, has committed to Kentucky in the class of 2025. His agent told ESPN he's 6'11" power forward. And then this is what Jonathan Givney says on ESPN. Jelavic is 6'11" power forward who possesses significant experience at the international level, turns 21 next month. He turns 21, I believe, on May 21st. I might be wrong, on May 26th, excuse me. Anyway, so a 6'11" power forward, played 53 games for Belgrade, Serbia-based Mega Superbet in the competitive Adriatic League. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I may be horribly wrong. The past two seasons, he averaged 10.8 points, 7.3 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and 1.2 steals in 30 minutes per game, shooting 62% from two. And what that article won't tell you, and what most articles won't for some reason, is what he was shooting from three. So this past season, he was shooting 32.3% from beyond the arc. arc. He's only played 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, at the ABA level. And the first season, he shot sub 30%. He wasn't taking a ton of threes per game. This past year, though, has kind of stepped up, and he shot 44%, I believe, in the playoffs. So the kid can hit. If you go and watch his tape, he's actually got a pretty good shot overall. Pretty sure this guarantees BG is gone, says Captain Crash in the comments. There's no way, in my mind, that you don't play Jelavic at the 4. The question is the NCAA going to clear him, or are they going to drag his eligibility out like they did Big Z? That is the question. That's the question we're going to have to figure out. I have absolutely no idea what they're going to do. It's so crazy that there are 364 of you in here with this shoddy internet out in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, BG out of here with a good win both ways. I don't think BG leaves. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm just completely off on that. I don't think Brandon Garrison is gone. I think that you play Jelavic at the 4. You play Diabate at the 4. Look, this guy would technically be a freshman, right, coming in. With Diabate entering his junior year and Cam Williams being a freshman, I think that you could, or being a sophomore at this point, you could technically. Is that a driver? It's actually a wedge, believe it or not. Yeah, this is not supposed to go on this mic, by the way. It is just it's been so windy out here when I started. I had to go find something to put on the mic. But anyway, you can rotate kids in and out with Williams and Jelavic and Diabate at the 4 and make that work. And, like, give them even minutes is what I'm trying to say. Because none of them are, like, superior over the other. If I had to guess, you're going to put Cam at the backup 3. And you are going to put Jelavic at the backup 4. And I say backup 4, meaning he's not going to start. And if he does start, Diabate and Jelavic are playing pretty even minutes. Garrison and Quaintance are your 5s. We're gonna play you at the 4. Hey man, at 6'2", I don't think I would be able to cut it out there. I don't have enough muscle down low. But pretty crazy stuff for Kentucky. I want to talk a little bit more about this kid's game after watching some of his tape. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had absolutely no idea that this was even possible. I had watched maybe a minute of this kid's tape before coming on here to talk about, or before rather seeing that commitment earlier today. So the last 30 minutes before I tried to get this set up here today, the last 30 minutes have been kind of watching, reading, kind of seeing what this kid's about. Before we get into all of that, though, I want to quickly tell you guys about our friends over at TurboTax. This is a message from sponsor Intuit. TurboTax taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you were going to get any money back, and then waiting and wondering and worrying some more. Now with taxes at TurboTax, it's matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your team or your taxes the undivided attention as they work on your return, while you get a real-time update on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find you every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, and everything with 100% accuracy. Also, you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no worrying. That right there is taxes. You can see an expert now on turbotax.com. All right. Continuing along here on the Saturday edition in parts unknown, Lance Dahl hanging out here with you. Really appreciate you guys checking out the show today. Some of you guys in the comments are asking about Malachi Marino. No, that's not even close to true. He's here. he's rocking it out. He's signed. So anybody out there that's reporting that he may leave is just simply wrong. Is this guy a recruit or a transfer? He's technically a recruit, I think, right? Because he would be a freshman at this point, if I'm not mistaken. He would be a freshman despite turning 21 in May. Which, I mean, talk about the age that Kentucky's got on their roster. They've got Jalen Lowe, and then they've also got somebody like Jelavic, and then they've got somebody like Garrison who is experienced. They've got Diabate who's experienced. I mean, for all the talk that you see on Twitter about whether or not Kentucky is going to have any sort of experience or muscle or talent on their roster next season, because apparently Louisville fans have just decided to throw themselves out there and say, well, Kentucky's traded in one of the most experienced rosters in the country for the youngest in America. Can't believe it. Whoa. Just they don't know what they're talking about. Have no idea what they're talking about. Chandler's an older sophomore. How is Colin Chandler a 21-year-old sophomore? So he went on a Mormon mission. Whenever he committed to Pope at BYU, he went on a Mormon mission out of high school, 2 years there, I believe somewhere in Africa, if I'm not mistaken. And then he returned back, and now he is a 21-year-old sophomore. He was a freshman whenever he started playing. Let's see here. That was a spot-on impression. Appreciate it. Wow. Good job, Lance. There's nothing binding about these contracts. Yeah, but a kid's signed. My assumption is that it would take a lot of work to get him out of that. And also, it's April. I don't know. Kentucky is paying their kids accordingly is my assumption. I think they're going to be fine there. You were asking his age. Jelavic is 20. He's going to turn 21 in May. He's going to turn 21 like a month and 2 weeks. He's class of 2025. If he's a freshman, should he be class of 29? Technically, yeah. Technically. This is so actually I'm gonna pause here. I want to talk a little bit more about this kid's game, because we haven't talked enough about it. You talk about Mark Pope and the system and the European 5-out style basketball that he runs, how he runs stuff through his 5-man, how things are just kind of a unique, fast-paced, right? A lot of passing, a lot of creation for other teammates. Euro ball. If you were to make a player in a lab for Mark Pope and his system, just based on what I've watched, I don't know if you could have done much better in terms of physical tools than Andrija Jelavic. While the three-point percentage could be 3% higher, which is not asking much, by the way, with an off-season of development at Kentucky, you are possibly getting what is definitely an NBA talent, absolutely a future NBA talent, that fits your scheme beautifully. Somebody that can take threes and make them, somebody that can be hyper-efficient at the rim, someone that has the athleticism to go up and jam it, go up and grab a board. If I'm not mistaken, averaged, like I mentioned, like +7 rebounds. Does a lot on the offensive glass. 1.4 assists, by the way. 1 steal per game. That, my friends, is an alarm. We keep it pushing. Really, really, really solid 4. Like just a great, a perfect player for Mark Pope at the 4. He can handle the ball. He's a great passer. This is a phenomenal pickup. Phenomenal pickup. Great Kentuckian says, Lance, to go on a small tangent about players getting paid. You saw what happens with Tennessee's quarterback situation. Do you think schools may push back on player payment demands? Yes. Short answer, yes. Long answer, I think you're probably going to see that be more prevalent on over in college football, I should say. You're gonna see that be more of a thing in college football, because the players are just simply, I think, going to command on average, the high end stars are going to command on average more money. It's going to command a lot more money. Got like high end quarterbacks like Nico or Carson Beck, or it doesn't matter whether or not they're good, by the way. Does not matter. If their agent and the player themselves thinks that they're worth that money, they're going to try and go out and get it. Nico, frankly, I think is out of his ever-loving mind to think that he commands $4 million. And this is not a Kentucky-Tennessee thing. He's good. I would be hard-pressed to say any kid in college football right now is currently worth $4 million. Any of them. It doesn't matter if it's a receiver or a quarter. No player, I believe, impacts the game that significantly to take $4 million of NIL money from a university. Not right now. Now, maybe there's a kid that comes through soon. Maybe there's a Manziel or a Newton or a Tebow or somebody like that or a Burrow that comes through and is able to command that type of money. But I think the greatest players are not going to ask for that much. The greatest players are not going to require that sort of compensation in order to play. Ohio State's wide receiver's worth $5 million. I don't think Jeremiah Smith is worth $5 million. No, he's not worth $4 million. No player is. $4 million. Think about that. You could go get 4 different national championship college football playoff caliber players to add to your roster or more. No. I think that they are. I think that if you talk about, we're getting so off track here. But for Jeremiah Smith, there are so many different receivers at the top of college football that play at these no-name schools that can statistically rack up more and do more for their team because of the scheme. I don't think that Smith, while he's good, he's not nobody's a $5 million player. No one is. Are they 2.5? Maybe. Could Jeremiah Smith be a $2.5 million player? Sure. But like scheme in college football is, I think, way more important than a $5 million player. Go get a $2.5 million player and put him in a good scheme. He's gonna cook. He's gonna do the exact same thing statistically. Just because it's not as flashy doesn't mean it doesn't get it done. He's good, yeah, but he's not. What I'm saying is he's not $5 million. There's not a single player in college football that's $5 million worth. In revenue generation, yeah, that's because what he brings to the table because of his name. I understand. I'm not saying name value. I'm saying as an individual talent. Manning is worth $12 million because he's a Manning. Who would you like to see us get in the portal for? Yeah, let's get thank you. Let's get back on track because I'm not here to talk about Ohio State football. Jack Pilgrim tweeting that the Jelavic pickup won't impact Brandon Garrison's decision. Yeah, see, so Garrison's going to be here. Quainton's going to be here. This is a loaded loaded front court. Excuse me. Who would I like to see us get in the portal for a backup point guard? I literally don't. At this point, I don't know if Kentucky's gonna get one. I think if they get Wilkerson, Dior Johnson, I don't think we want Dior. This is not me laughing at you. This is just laughing at the concept of getting Dior Johnson. If you get Wilkerson, the roster is full at that point, right? If you at that point you get Chandler and Jasper. I think we are significantly undervaluing how good Jasper could be as a combo guard. The solution may be to put Jasper at the one whenever Lowe's not in, and let them rock accordingly. I really think that could be what's happening here. Kentucky could go get somebody that is like a legitimate legitimate backup guard, but they're not going to be anything crazy to add, right? It's going to be somebody that averaged like 6 or 7 points at their previous school or something like that. I think Jasper can run the point. I think he absolutely can run the point. Whenever let me be clear. Whenever Jalen Lowe is not running the point. So Jelavic, Diabate. You've also got Quaintance and Garrison, Williams and Owe, Jasper and Chandler, Lowe right now. If you get Wilkerson, you go Lowe, Jasper, You could start Owe at the 2, I guess. Owe, Chandler, Wilkerson, Williams, Diabate, Jelavic, Garrison, Quaintance, Marino. And then you've got Noah and Perry, right? How will this affect Mo D's minutes? He was going to split time with somebody regardless, I think. You wanted somebody that could stretch out, right? Diabate doesn't do that for you. You had to go get somebody that was kind of the opposite of him stylistically. And I think that this is a perfect ad, just based on what I've seen. Pierre is off the table. Yeah, apparently it was reported last night that Kentucky was no longer pursuing him. Mo D will start, get 20 to 25 again. He's probably going to start. So that's the thing. Because he's the junior in this situation, and because Jelavic has literally never played college ball before. Yes, he's played in the ABA. It's gonna be a lot different over here. Diabate's probably going to start. Now, like I said at the beginning of the show, you're probably going to split time somewhat, minutes-wise. Jasper can be De'Aaron Fox 2.0. I'm dead serious. I don't think Jasper has the speed, like the raw speed that De'Aaron Fox had. I don't know if anybody does, but let me tell you something. The kid can handle and he can get to the rim almost whenever he wants. With that wingspan and with his ball handling, that's hard to stop. And the left-handed game does remind you of Fox at different points. The speed is the thing there. But the handles and the stuff at the rim are great. So, let's see here. Let's see. No injury, we will be okay, but you can't count on that, absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about that. We were talking about that on the most recent stream, right? We were talking about the fact that Kentucky, like we were so worried about a Caden leaving and kind of freaking out and being like, oh, well, what on earth does Kentucky do if somebody gets injured? It's like, well, you can't technically count on that. Man, it really seems like my stream is struggling right now. We may have to call it here in a second, guys, just because my laptop has not been able to handle everything. What we may do is, if y'all can still hear me, we'll keep it pushing. Legit question for Lance: does the attempt at getting lefties give us a statistical edge? I actually don't know. That is a question that I asked recently to somebody. I don't actually know. You've got Diabate is left-handed, if I'm not mistaken. Jasper, left-handed. Lowe, left-handed. I don't know if it gives you a statistical advantage, but I'll tell you this. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be different, that's for sure. So. Video quality's bad, but the sound is fine to me. So here's what we may do then. For the remainder of this episode, what we may do is just run the intro for a little bit. Any chance at Ian Jackson? No, at this point I don't think so. I mean, again, you're not looking for a starter. You're not looking for a starting caliber guard in the transfer portal right now. You're not looking for a starting one. What you're looking for is either a small forward or a shooting guard that can shoot. And Wilkerson, honestly, profiles to me like a tweener, so I think that's great. What about Malachi Smith from Dayton? I don't know. I've not seen if Kentucky's reached out to him. Grant Derbyshire's an ambidextrous and positionless. Yes, so there's another lefty that we can add there technically. I don't think we're getting Ian Jackson. I just don't think that's happening. I think that you are better off. Well, I wouldn't say better off. I don't think it's possible. You're not going to get a 5-star guard that was carrying so much weight for his previous school. You're going to get somebody that's backing up. You move Lowe to 6-man if you can get Ian Jackson. Lowe did not come here to play 6-man, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Andrija Jelavic commits to Kentucky basketball. Big time pickup for Kentucky. Unicorn-type player. I hate that this has kind of been a chaotic live stream and that the connection's so bad. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the podcast feed, I would greatly appreciate it if you did so. We'll continue to talk about Kentucky and the transfer portal. What happens with Lamar Wilkerson next season. And tomorrow, I should say. What am I talking about? And we'll talk about the rest of the roster and see if Kentucky wants to or will add anybody through the transfer portal after this. At the end of the day, Kentucky's roster is pretty full. If you don't get another player, I think you're going to be just fine. So you can follow the show on Twitter at LockedOnUK. You can follow me on Twitter at LanceDahl_ and follow the show over on Instagram. That is at Kentucky Podcast. Any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave those in the YouTube comments below. You can hit me on the socials. I will see you all on Monday, pending a commitment randomly, for another episode of Locked On Kentucky. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and God bless. Sorry the stream quality is so bad. There's nothing